everybody, welcome to JTV Extra. I'm Sandra Younger, inventor of a cord knotting and design tool called the Knotty-Do-It-All. And on our show, it is all about stringy materials. Today, this is like, this lesson is like strange. To me, I mean, conceptually, it seemed like, oh, that must be easy, you know, because usually when you do one of those slider necklaces, it's just real basic. But for the longest time, I thought about like adding chain, and let me tell you, it was not as easy as I thought it would be, because you really have to be really careful about the length of cord that you use, especially if you don't like wasting cord, because I don't like wasting any more than I need to, because, you know, and the reason is because one time there was this one stringing material that I really, really liked. And, you know, you assume, oh, it's going to be around forever. And then they stopped making it. And I was like devastated. So I became like one of these people that like really like was very careful with my like stringing materials, and like I just didn't want to waste anything. If you're new here, you can leave comments down below, ask questions, and I promise, I say that every time, but you know, I do try to do the lesson and like answer the questions. So, you know, I'll honestly, I'll try. And hit the heart button, because like, you know, I like seeing that little flurry of hearts, because that tells me that you like the show and you like what, you know, the things that I'm doing. We don't have a customer show today, and that tells me that a lot of you have been really busy making jewelry, or just like getting ready for Christmas, which is only like not that far away. So if you have someone on your list that you don't want a really awesome and amazing gift for, get them the Knotty-Do-It-All, because it's like the gift that keeps on giving. As a matter of fact, I remember one time at a show, this is a funny story. This man came by my booth and like hugged me and shook my hand and told me that he loved me because he gave one to his wife, and that I mean, it sounds kind of bad, but basically he wanted to say that she no longer bugged him, which I thought, okay, that's kind of funny. But little did he know that she would like start buying like more beads, cord, stringing material. So I don't know how that ended up in the end. I don't know if he regretted it or like actually like liked it. Anyway, we're going to talk about the products on today's show, and then we'll get to the lesson. We do not have a customer show today, like I mentioned, because, you know, I know that you guys have been really busy. Anyway, here are the products on today's show. The first item that we have, guys, is the amazing Knotty-Do-It-All. This is a cord knotting and design tool that I invented. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it is made in the USA. And it is like made with this beautiful Baltic birch wood. It is super thick. It's heavy. This one's even heavier. This one weighs over 2 pounds. And one of the nice things, it also, like, just tell you a little bit about it. It's got like these anti-slip feet. So working, it keeps like traction. Plus, it doesn't like mar your surfaces or anything like that. And this is a small board, and it does have like everything you need. It comes with the hardware kit, which has like clips, the pins, which are, as you can see, I just kind of like reconfigure them however I need, depending on what I'm working on. And it comes with a little pouch for your hardware. And one of the nice things about this tool, it just makes everything so much faster. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite knots, which is this one right here. Let me show you. And this is a bigger version. This is the moose knot, and it is the perfect knot for like, see, can you see that? Let me unclip this. Just look what a beautiful, beautiful knot this is, and it's so easy to make. And I'm going to show you how I did that right now. Let me put this back on here because it will keep the tension. Ta-ta. See, and you can get your hands underneath your work. I'm going to show you real quick like how a moose knot is made, in case you have never seen one. It is super easy. All you need to do is like anywhere on your board, anywhere. That's one nice thing about moose knots. All you need is an inch apart on your pin in your clip, and you can use the moose knot for like pendants. Let's say you have a necklace and you want the pendant in front. Just look how beautiful this moose knot is. So I'm going to come over here, just put this in back. You take one of your pegs and you just wrap a couple of times. I'm going to list 3. Should I go 4? You know what? Let's do a 4 wrap. That's one of the nice things about the moose knot. You can make it like as many wraps as you want. But normally I make it 3. But you know what? I'm just going to go big this time. because the leather's nice and thick, and I think it would look really, really pretty. So you just tighten that and check it out. Look how nice that knot is. It is like the prettiest. I kid you not. I think it's one of the nicest, most beautiful knots that you can use for like attaching pendants. Let's just say this wasn't a clasp. Let's say it was a pendant. So check it out. Wouldn't that? Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. And then there's I offer so many like different like ways that you can like use the moose knot. And the of course one of the ways is for attaching pendants, but on this one what I did was I used it to attach this clasp. And right now I'm going to do one of my favorite demos to do for this show, because this really like, I mean, I'm just like working off the spool. So I'm going to slide a bead over, and I'm making an overhand knot. See that? It's like right over the leather, and then I'm going to tighten it. And this is like one of the fastest, easiest, like coolest bracelets that you can make, because it literally takes like less than 10 minutes. And you know, if you're making a lot of jewelry, time is money. And so that means you can work faster. Oh, I forgot to put the bead. Let's slide that over. And one of the nice things is like on this bracelet, I wanted to put like I'm going to put something on here. I don't know what, like maybe I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. But I made this one exactly the same way. It took less than 8 minutes to make, and I showed like different really cool things that you can do, because it's like, this is leather. You want to transition to like a synthetic, because you don't want to be like have any kind of slide knot on your leather, because then it rubs it like, and then it kind of just gets worn out. But with the synthetic, you can you know, makes this little slide knot. See that? So if you have a big button, it slides closed. So that's what this technique here looks like. And one of the other really cool things that you can do, you can make tassels like any size or shape. So what I did here was I just took my thread. I used yarn. I just wrapped it around the 2 pegs. You know, you can just make them as fluffy as you want or as thin as you want. I've made some really big tassels. Oh, too bad I don't have them, but I made some gigantic tassels. And then what you do is, oh, this is one of my favorite parts, is taking the tassel off. So what I did was I wrapped the cords around. I made a macrame binding knot right here. And then I'm just going to, let's see, trim this, take this off, just like that. And then you cut it like, boom, done. And one thing that you could do, which I do a lot, because if you're going to make 1 tassel, you might as well make 2. So what I do is I make it like twice as long. Boom, boom. I wrap. I do a binding knot here, 1 here, and then I cut it like right in the middle. So that is one of the other things that you can do. And the ruler comes in both inches and centimeters. So, you know, if you're accustomed to the centimeters, which I wish the whole world did centimeters, because it's centimeters, it's just a more precise measurement. And one thing that I do use quite often is the bead and ring size chart, because when I was making this bracelet, you know, I wasn't like quite sure like the scale. So I was wondering, like, you know, I look at it and I'm like, is the 9 too big, or is the 8? So I ended up, I think I'm going to pick the 8mm, but it's really, you wouldn't believe how handy it is. Like if you have a ring and you're not sure what size it is, I mean, or a bead, this bead and ring size chart is really, really handy. It's got a well here, or a groove, so you can lay out like patterns. If, you know, I'm more of a like kind of wing it type of person, and which I wish I wasn't, because if I only used my groove, I would make less mistakes. So it's definitely an asset. My husband always uses the groove, and his always comes out perfect. And one of the other things that you can do, and this is like crazy, crazy cool, is, and I'll show a little bit here. Let me move this one over so I can show you the other, cool thing that you can do. Let me, hang on. Let's bring this one over. Looming. And it's actually really easy. And for some reason, I really like weaving with the cord, because I don't know, it's just very relaxing. But I'll show you, it's pretty easy. So when you weave, all you got to do is you set your cords like up. And let me see, this is not wanting to focus. Let me just lock that in there. But see, you can like come right underneath, and you just feed the your needle just like up and down. Did I do that right? Yes. And then you just tap it down, and then you just reverse it, and you just go the other way. So it's actually, and then I've been practicing, with different like designs and tension and just things like that, just so I can get it just right. But but it's easy, and it's actually it's really really fun. I mean, I'm no professional, but I'm getting there. So those of you that do weave, or you want to weave, and you're not sure, like if you want to get a tool just specifically for weaving, this is like, you have like literally, it's like a free loom, just boom, right in there. So what I did was I took two of the pegs, and see how I have them clipped on the ends here. So I just wrapped the cords. And there are a variety of ways that you can do this, but this is definitely like one of the really cool things that you can do with this tool. And it is, and see how cool that is. I mean, the pins and the clips, just the arrangement. I mean, it's like you have a new tool, and there's like just so many different ways that you can like arrange the pins and the clips depending on what you're doing. And the little board is like it's like the little sister to the big one, and this one is like perfect for a travel size, so you can always like take your work on the go with you. And this honestly makes a great present, especially like for birthdays, Christmas, or just like any time of the year, because it is so functional. And it is like, if you're gonna buy, it's like having like 10 tools in one. So when I say it's the Knotty-Do-It-All, I mean it is the Knotty-Do-It-All, because you can do like everything with the stringy material with this tool. Anyway, let's talk about some of the other products that we have here. The next item, these black rutilated quartz. Okay, this is a large hole. It is an 8mm smooth round. And these are, I don't know if it was this one or the sardonyx, but I was looking, it's always fun to look up information on like where it comes from, how it got its name, and stuff like that. So this is and so what I like about this one and the next one, which is the sardonyx, is that they've got a more masculine feel. So if you have a like your son or your husband that you need to make a gift for, then these two beads, they're perfect, because I don't know, they just have that that masculine touch. And the interesting thing about the sardonyx, I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of like, if you look at it closely, especially lucky that there's one bead where you can clearly see it. It's got there's like layers. So it's just very interesting like patterns, and they're very shiny. So if you're wondering if they're matte or shiny, both the sardonyx and the black rutilated, black rutilated quartz, I don't know, it looks like white, I don't know. It looks like a lot of white to me, so I don't know, but that's what it's called. Anyway, this one's the sardonyx. That's an interesting name. I wonder, the first thing I thought when I heard sardonyx, I'm like, is it related to like onyx? I mean, you'd think so because it's black, but I like I said, I need to look up more information, but very, very pretty cord. I mean, it's beads. And up next, we have the 8x12mm fluorite. And I did make a necklace with these. Let me see if I have it here. Yes, I do. And because it's like a transparency bead. See, so anything you string through it, it will show up. And so I didn't want to put anything dark because then it just kind of like, like it loses the illumination. So what I used here is this is I forgot, bronze wire. Yes, that's what this is, bronze wire. Anyway, so that's what I use to like do the wire wrapping on these beads. They're so pretty. And the last item is, and this is what we're using today. This is it's a multicolor 2mm wax cord. It's a set of 7, and it is a clearance price, guys. So there are very few left. I think there's like 80 or less. So let's clear them out. They're $24.99. So you get a total of 70 meters. And this stuff is a very versatile because if you don't like the idea of leather, which I do have some customers that don't, then this wax cord set. And I know someone says, why isn't it waxed? I think what they mean, when you wax a car and it gets shiny, I think that's what that term means, because it's kind of shiny. But that's what I used for this, and it's great for bracelets because it's very strong, very durable, and this one just really cool colors, and it has white, which I think is cool because I don't know if any of you know this, but white or some shade of white. I mean, the Pantone color of the year for 2026 is white. I'm not quite sure. It looked to me, when I looked on the computer, it looked like it was a cool white, and this the white here is a cool white. So you can always tell if you're like, well, what's a cool white? What's a warm white? Anything that's has like a yellowish white would be considered a warm white, and then anything like that has like a bluish tint, like this one, would be considered cool. And you're like, how am I ever going to remember that? Well, I've got like a little tip. If you think about the ocean and the sun, the ocean is cool and the sun is hot. The sun is like yellow, it's warmer, and the water is bluish, so it's cooler. So that's how I remember it. But anyway, those are the products on today's show. I think I covered everything. Yes, I did. So if there's anything you see, you better get it before it's gone. Someone asked if I just want to just let you know that I watched, I saw a couple of the questions, and someone commented on my necklaces, and I'm like, oh yes, my gingerbread necklace. I didn't have it on, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I forgot to put it on. It was going to be like the main necklace. One of you guys sent me a little gingerbread cookie last year, and I just love it. Isn't that cute? So what I did was I braided it, and I put like a little bow on it. It's so cute. The question was, is the cord that I'm using cotton? That's a good question, because I don't know. Because my friend Tammy, the talented Tammy, gave me this. And let me just show you real quickly how to test whether a cord is a synthetic or not. So you just get a lighter and just kind of like go like this, and see how it didn't ball up. It turned into like ash. That means it's cotton. Oh, Mike. Okay, sorry about that. My microphone. I'm glad I've got like a person that listens to my audio. Anyway, that's how you tell that whether it's a synthetic or a natural fiber. Silk, obviously leather is not synthetic, but the today's cord, which is not this one, we're going to be using the faux leather. So this one is a synthetic, so it does melt. So anyway, this is an interesting lesson, because you know that when you make one of these necklaces, I'll make one because it's very quick and easy. It's just that real basic adjustable. So, the trick is I'm going to make just a basic one and then explain like the more difficult one. So when I make this one, I wrap the cord around my head to where like it's comfortable. And then I add 12 inches. So you go on your board and just add 6 and then 6 and then cut. And I don't have any measurements for this because honestly, it depends on the thickness of your cord, because I tried the same thing with like a different thicknesses of like stringy material, and for some reason I just got like different results. So I need to like work on coming up with a more comprehensive list. So once you have the measurement, so this is a really important part. So you have to line up the ends very, very, very carefully. And I mean, it's not as important when there's no chain, but it's extremely important when there is chain or anything like in the middle, because otherwise, when you come to close the necklace, there's going to be a bigger like gap on one side than the other if you don't like get it exactly right. So I'm going to come in here and see, like holding it, but I just want this part right in here, like enough so that my head, like it still fits. And after you make the knots, it will add a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2. And I actually don't know how much it adds, but it doesn't add very much. So you're not going to be left with like a gigantic like necklace. So you just make sure it's lined up, check it twice, take it off, and hold it. And there are like a bunch of different ways that you can like mark your cord. I'm going to use a pencil. Let's see. Or I want to use something where it's not like too like dark, something that kind of sort of matches the, you know what? I'm just going to use maybe a marker only just for the lesson. So you could like see what I'm doing. But normally I would just, maybe a pencil, because you know how that goes. You try making like a prototype or something, and then you end up wishing that you had used something that you could take off. So maybe I will use a pencil. So just keep holding it and just mark it. You just want to make a line that, okay, that's good. See how it goes over both? So then what you do is you take these, now you got to crisscross them over each other and then line them up, okay? And then the interesting thing is like the clips, if you, let me get that focused. You can see it's got like a little, like, I don't know, little, it looks like an owl's mouth, I guess. But if you just line that line right in line with that, see that right? Did I get that? Yeah, that's perfect. You know, guys, let me, give me a second because I just lost my, I don't know where my JTV, my thing went. Hang on, because I want to listen to your comments. Just 1 second. Let me just get this back up. 1 minute. Okay. So I'm watching your comments. There we go. All right. Oh, all right. So let's get this side. This is so easy. I just love it. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so let's do this, and it's just like a regular moose knot. And this has got to be like, honestly, I've seen like so many like videos on YouTube that show how to do this, and just like, it's just, they make it so complicated, but this has got to be the easiest way to do this kind of necklace. So you just take the short cord, and then you just make a moose knot. So you just come in and just wrap around just like this. Ooh, we got Gina who says she's late. Ooh, Tess Barr. Hey, Tess. And one thing about this cord, okay, it does fluff. It's not that big a deal, like when you're doing this, but if it, excuse me. What are my thoughts on that? It just kind of like work with it. Because one night it's the good and the bad. It's good that it fluffs because it's great for like making like little like fluffy things on ends. But it's not good if you're trying to like get it through a knot. But you know what? You know, at least you have a both. Okay, so I am going to take this out. See that? We just take the peg out, and then you like snug it down, and then don't take it off, because all you got to do is flip this around and then make another moose knot. You know, it's funny. When I first did this, I'm like, oh, this is so good. And I was like making a moose knot like right-handed and left-handed, and it wasn't very fun. And then one day I'm like, oh, you could just spin the clip around, and it made it like 100% easier. It's just like so easy. So then on this one here, let's see. Oh, Rhonda, I'm so glad you're doing better, guys. Rhonda, she's home. So yay. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, so I'm gonna get this in there and pull and tighten. Okay. And this is good. See, done. So let's come over here. And so this, when there's no chain, okay, let me open it up a little bit more. Let's get it right there. Let's make sure. Okay. So this one, I'll be able to like close like pretty much all the way, which makes it ideal for, let's say you just have one like large whole bead, or let's see what else. Just like a set of beads. Because I actually, oh, hang on, I'm just like, I've got like stuff here, guys. See that? So you could get it really, the knot like really, really like closed. And you know what? I had an idea. Okay, I haven't like executed the idea, but check it out. Okay, let's say, because I was looking at this yesterday and I thought, oh, think about this, guys. If I had made these longer, probably 6 inches longer, what you could do, because normally you would melt the ends and, just like have something in the middle, but another thing that you can do, if these were longer, you could put moose knots on the ends of those and have like a really cool, like, it would be like a cross between like a bolo and a lariat style necklace, because think about it. And I know Laura Lee, I know you'll probably like do it because, I just think that Laura Lee will try it, because it would be really cool to have, like, just imagine like a large whole like bead here, like a pearl or something. And then on the ends of these guys have like a couple of moose knots with rings or wire wrap beads or something. I think wouldn't that be like really, really like cool? And the neat thing about it is that you could like make it like adjustable. But the important thing here is when it's just plain cord, no chain, you'll be able to get it like really, really tight. However, if you have chain in there, you're going to have that natural like stop in there, which means your necklace is going to be a little bit like longer. So that's what we're going to talk about. So, but isn't that like, oh, that's such a good idea. I cannot wait to try that. So really cool. Let me get this off, guys, because I need it. Hang on, just give me a second here. Okay, so that is off. But I think it's cool. And plus, this thicker waxed cord, it's just so like soft, and it's very strong. And it's $24.99. You get a set of 7. And the nice thing is it's like I always say, this is the good and the bad. 10 meters of cord, because a problem that I had, and I'll tell you what it was. Okay, like, remember the number 36, because that's going to be your target length after you add your chain. So whether the chain is this long or this long, when you like measure out, it's got to be 36 inches. So it's going to be, so basically the formula is going to be like, but it's 36 after you add the chain. That's the important part, because, when I was doing it, I made a few and I'm like, oh, I don't remember, like, so what you do, I'm just going to get a random like piece of chain here. So I'm not going to measure it or anything. So I'm just going to take this one. Let's just say this long. Oh, and another thing, this is important. When you add chain, let me get if it's like big chain like this, you want an odd number of links, because see whoa, is this not focusing? Because see this ring, this is like, you can see the top of this one, but the side of that one. So it's side, top, side, top, side. If it's an even number, you're going to end up with on one side being a top and the other one being like a bottom. So if it's an odd number of like loops. I think that happened to this one. Let's count. Let me count them. Let's see. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 30. See, I have, because when I made this one, I realized that that was a problem. And the reason it becomes a problem is because if you want to add wire wrap beads like I did on this one, it won't be balanced because it's just not gonna match. So so this is another idea that you can do. So after you add the chain, you can put like wire wrap beads on there. And the other thing that you can do, and it's basically like chain, is that in this one I use the these are the fluorite beads, and I used the gold. I think I mentioned that earlier. But the only thing you got to remember, if you're using a very thick cord, is when you do your last bead, make sure to make the hole like really big, because I forgot to do that. So I ended up with I don't know, it's just kind of like I had to do the whole thing over. And the other option, which there's so many options. I think I could write like a whole like article on this. Okay, this one I did not, it's not chain, but what I did was this is the sardonyx, and see, it's all part of it. So it really doesn't matter if it's like added in with the moose knots, or if it's done directly on the cord. The basic principle is the same, 36 inches. And okay, hang on, let me get my fan blowing here because it's getting hot. Hang on, guys. I'm getting a drink of water. Okay, so let me take my fake piece of chain here. Let's just say, I have my secret. I'll measure this in a minute. Actually, maybe I should do this. No, because I told myself I'm not going to do that. No, I'll talk about that one in a minute. So let me just do like 6. Okay, and I'm not going. And this I'm using like an open like chain because why, I don't know. But normally I would use closed chain because it's just more secure. So the first thing you want to do is just put a moose knot on one side. And measure, I don't know, like I think you need like about 5.5 inches. Let's see if that's right. Because I don't like wasting any cord. So, but you need leverage though. So sometimes there will be, yeah, that's perfect. So 5.5. Let's go through here. See, that's the thing about this cord. It is a little bit thick. So let me just carefully get this one through. I mean, this is real. Oh no, what happened? Okay, so there's one. Okay, so we got that one done. And then, okay, so this is where things got a little bit weird for me. And this was the tip. Since I don't want to waste any cord, and it does come with 10 yards, and 10 yards is not a little, but it's not a whole lot either. So instead of like trying to guess, because I tried to guess the first time I did it, and it ended up coming up too short, which actually was kind of cool because it stayed on my head. It made like a really cool headband. And I thought, you know what? Okay, so this isn't it, but you can make like a headband. I'm just like telling you like some of the things I learned when I was trying to do this. So I know a lot of like when my kids were like little, they did like dances, and they were always like looking for like like headgear, like just little mermaid type stuff. This would be perfect. It's adjustable. You could put things hanging down the side. I was thinking feathers, flowers, just so many different ideas. Okay, but the problem that I had in the way I solved it, I thought, 10 yards ain't that much. I'm just going to unspool the whole thing and use the opposite end of the spool. And yeah, when you can either spool it back on the spool, or I just put it in a bundle because that's all right with me. It's not that big a deal because, you know, why waste it if you don't have to? So I'm going to come in here and let's cut this off because it has like a thing. Let me get my scissors 1 second. You know, I'm sure I've got scissors on my table, but I cannot see them. Okay, so I'm going to cut this side off. And then I'm going to put a moose knot on the chain with the other side. And the only time you'll have to do this is when you're working with a length of chain that you're not quite sure of, because once you've got that, take note. Just get a notebook, say, okay, if I use 6 inches of chain, then this is how much a cord I'll need on each of the sides. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to measure this and do my, let's do 1, 2, and don't forget, you can make these moose knots as long or as short as you want. Okay, so let's get this in here, tighten it. Okay, and scoot it down. And Crystal, Crystal has joined. And we got our timekeeper, Pat. Ooh, crab. Oh my God, crab, lobster. And I haven't had any of that in a long time. Sounds tasty. Okay. So the next thing. So now that you got your chain, and this is like one gigantic like necklace. I think it could like fit like an elephant. But so what you do now is just get like on a yardstick and measure out 36 inches. Okay, so 36. Okay. Wait a minute. Is that right? I think, okay, 30. Okay, let's measure this part right here. Let's do that first. So it is 6 inches. So it's 30 and 30, 15 and 15. So that's going to be the magic number for this one. So, because it's going to, see, so it's 36, like I mentioned, that's like the magic number because you have your 15, 15, and then the 6 in the middle. So, and sometimes, you know, I don't know, sometimes depending on the chain, it could get a little bit off. So now that we have this, we come back and let me clean up this. I'm getting tangled here, guys. Hang on a second. Whoa. It's you know, it's not that big a deal, but you know, I have so you come back and with the chain, you do basically the same thing, but always like check twice. So line this up and then bring this down and you want it to be like exactly. Okay, so that's a little bit off. So I'm gonna fix this. So let's trim it because we want it to be exact. Okay, perfect. So now we go back and we do that same thing. We put it around our head, like line up the ends to where they're like precisely in there. So this is probably one of the most important parts. I mean, you've really got to like tweak it. Okay, right there. So you're gonna come in here and hold this. Just kind of like move it around, but because you want it to get like perfect right there. And another thing that would, I mean, it gets easier. Like, let's say you already know like how much, like how what the circumference of your like head is. Just like write it on a note card and just put it on your wall. So that way you know. So I'm going to come in here and do that same thing where I mark those, that point, and then I'm going to crisscross this and scoot it and try to get it perfectly perfect lined up. Okay. And this is a great, like thing to do with the little board. Because sometimes you need a little board, sometimes you need a lot of board. And I think they're a really good price right now. You know, for some reason, I cannot see the prices, but how much are they right now? Because remember, if you have, don't forget to check your Brilliant Cash. If it's your birthday this month, you will get like, I think like $30. And if you've never purchased anything, you get, I think it's 40. You need to check. See how it just fluffed out? Oh boy, I'm gonna have a little bit of trouble here, but that's okay. I'm gonna pull this and take this out. Remember, do not take it off until you have the second knot made. Okay. I'm gonna come here and put my clip and get my peg and do the second one. And I was thinking this would look really cool. Oh, you know, like the single one with like large hole pearls. I mean, there's a whole like bunch of different ways that this can be like used for like different designs. I mean, I just got started just a couple of days ago. So, I mean, okay. Because the site doesn't have the jewelry making tab. Huh. Mary says there's no jewelry making tab. Like, I don't know. I could, for some reason, I can't see the products on mine. Maybe I'm doing something wrong today, but am I the only one that cannot see the products? So, okay, so now just kind of like snug these down. And my tip, oh, this is always the tough part, guys. My tip because you do need to, like, let's see, Mary, I can't see them. Oh, you know what? Okay, it's not just me then. Thank you, Pat, 20 minutes. Huh. Uh-oh. You know what? I don't know. I don't have control of the products on today's show. Oh no. I mean, if you're watching from like Facebook, uh-oh. Well, I will have to maybe they sold out of everything. I doubt it. But you know, oh goodness. Oh, well, I don't know what to say, but I'm gonna like turn my fan away because I want to show you like the tip here for melting this part. And this is gonna take practice. This is what my new thing now. Okay, so I'll cut it and let me turn the fan because it's gonna blow. Huh. You guys, thanks for letting me know because I thought I was like going crazy because I was like trying different computers and okay. So, okay, I have it fluffed out. And this is, you have to do this very, very carefully. You could use, I use a single edge razor, but what I did, I don't think this one's very sharp because I kind of like sanded the ends. It worked, but you don't see, only this shows product. Oh, they didn't sell out, but you have to use search. Even to get to jewelry, huh? Hey, Nana, thanks for joining us. Shelly, I just put my Knotty-Do-It-All in the search bar. Yeah, right, Sarah? I do too. I really do. But in this case, we need to like melt it into a ball. But one thing that's very important, since this is not your regular macrame slide knot, it is a coil knot, so we have to melt it. And we need to like put a barrier like between like this cord here and then the knot this part that we're going to melt, because otherwise what's happened more often than not, while you're melting this, the heat hits this part and then it makes like a melted like nick. And the way to prevent that from happening is to put something, I mean anything, like in between, and it's got to like go like really in there. And I have found that a single edge razor works really well. If you could find something else, it's like flat. But like I said, I'm not going to try it because probably with my luck, I picked up the wrong one. No, that's not true. I've got very good luck, but I just don't want to like mess it up. But what you do is you just hold it right in there and see how, or you could use like, let's use a clip. Let's do that. Let's turn it this way and, oh, you know what? That actually works really well because it allows me to pivot. But never put anything like this upward. And maybe like you could use like an aluminum foil or something, but that's good. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna hold that right there. And then I'm gonna come in and like kind of like brush the flame back and forth and blow. You know, I think let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm listening, like I'm watching your comments. Oh, did any of you ever figure out how to like see the comment section? The black spot. You know what? One thing I'm gonna try. I have no guarantee it's gonna work right now, but one thing that has helped me in the past, since it's like hardened, if you want to like minimize like the black, you just got to be really careful at this thing because you want to put like something in between, but you can actually like file it just to make it less black. Maybe if you get like a let me see, let me think. We'll put my thinking cap on. What can I put in between here? Okay, let's put a scrap of cord. Let's see how that works. Ooh, that does work. Because when you're doing the filing, you don't want to accidentally like file this part. But that is one thing that you could do just to, so it's not so black. It just kind of makes it like blend in a little bit better. Okay, let's try that. Oh, that's funny. See that? So it kind of like, see, that made it look a lot better. Okay. Isn't that like a cool tip? Did you guys know you could do that? But you got to be careful. And oh my gosh, I do not know what grit this is. I'm gonna guess that it's probably like, it feels like a 180. So yeah. So I'm gonna do the other side as well. And I'll show you like a cool thing that I did. Let me get this one. Let's get this one. So I don't know what else to recommend. Let's fluff this out. We're gonna hold this right here. But don't forget to run your, if you're gonna have a dedicated like thing like this, like make sure and just, you can like literally like sand the sharpness out of it and then actually do the corners as well. Because it really, see that? It helps if you just get some sandpaper, it'll blunt, you know, the edges, and it just works. It just works. Okay, so I'm going to do this side. So I'm going to hold this at an angle. I'm going to put this right in here, my little heat guard, and I'm going to like blow in. And oh, you want to here, Crystal. This is for like, let's see, who wants to blow the candle out? Let's see. Was that Crystal? Oh my goodness. Wait, I'm looking at the comments here, guys. So you just gotta like, what was your tip? Oh, to get rid of the black and, oh, Michael, I used a nail file. So the so you can like, you could like kind of like sand it off, because when you melt it, it turns into like it's like hard, and then it's easy to like file. So like I mentioned, I think this is a 180 grit. Guys, I'm just like looking at your comments. So that's like, I might sound like I'm not like somebody who mentioned something about wanting, oh, there it is, Crystal. Okay, Crystal, this is for you. Come on, let's get it lit up. Okay, Crystal, blow. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Okay, so now we've got both of these sides done. I'm not going to sand that side. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to do it. Why not? Because it makes it look better. So let me put this. I'm going to just hold it right here. Oh, you know what? I didn't put my protector. Okay. So now we got our necklace. So let's try it on. But remember, like I mentioned, it's going to be, you're not going to be able to close it as short. And there's just, I mean, there's nothing you could do about that. And the only thing you can do is like the shorter you make the chain, the shorter your necklace will be able to become, if that makes any sense. You know, when I was talking about the sardonyx, I'm like, the reason I was laughing because I thought it was a cross between a sardine and onyx. That's like that I thought. I'm not going to say that, but sardonyx. But I didn't look it up. Look it up, guys. It's really interesting because oh my gosh, I got so much stuff on. And see, this is one thing I love about adjustable stuff. I'm just kind of looking in the mirror here. Oh. You could tweak it. Most everything I make, most everything, like I would say 90. Is this one adjustable? No, I didn't make that one adjustable because I knew exactly how long I wanted my cute little necklace. But this one, that's as short as you're going to be able to make it. And it's fine. I mean, it's not, so, you know, it's not going to be a choker. So I think you can, you know, be okay with that. But see, look at that. And then you can like add like wire wrap beads to this. And I'll show you like it's just like a really cool tip that you probably already knew, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. I would try. Yeah. Yes, Gina. I think you could, what was I going to say? Oh, for marking that spot on the backside, or maybe, you know what, for like hitting these things up, yes, that might be like a good idea. That could work. But one thing that this board, oh God, I don't know what I would do without this. It's like, oh, it's like having like a bunch of hands at once, guys. And it not only, I mean, I've got so many customers. I have one customer that does a lot of miniatures. And she also uses it for painting because what she does is she takes the pegs or the clips and she just covers it with plastic and then pokes the pegs through and uses the clips to like hold like these little miniatures that she airbrushes and then she just puts it back in there. And she said that the board is like fantastic for that. And some other customers, they paint Easter eggs, and they said that like having so they'll drill the hole in the egg like about maybe like a 3 or 4 millimeter, probably like a 4 millimeter hole, and then they'll like actually like put it on the peg to dry. Like they said that this is like amazing. So so once you get your chain on, this is really cool. So you can actually like, I'm gonna clip let me just clip this in here. So I'm going to get this side and probably, okay, this will fit. Let's get this. Is that the right one? Okay, this is the wrong one. This is why you need an even number of rings. So what I did when I put my rings on, I clipped this first one and then I just like held this, and see, you can actually, you could see the front face, see the tops of these. Those are the front facing ones, and those are the ones you want to put your wire wrap beads on. See that? So this one's a different color because I don't know. It just happened. And another thing that you could do, like let's say you want it like a more like tiered version. This is just like, I'm just throwing out ideas right now. You can, on this one, put like beads on the top and the bottom, and so it's a little bit longer, or you could just put something completely different. So you'll have like these 3 here, and then the one that's different in the middle, which kind of reminds me of one that I had on. Oh yeah, this one. It's just, so when you're watching my lessons, just start thinking about like different, like, oh, maybe I could do this, or maybe I can do that. So let me tighten this one back up. because this one I could have just made it like, oh my goodness, it might stuck in my microphone. Hang on, guys. Ugh. There we go. So this one, I could have made it just all like these little dangle things, but then I decided to like go down the middle. And so that's something that you could do with this. And having just, oh my gosh, my hair. Lots of options, like techniques when you're making, because if you're going to be a real designer, you need to have lots of tips and tricks and techniques at your disposal. And with this board, there are so many. I mean, there are billions of them. And so since I finished this one, and remember the magic number is 36 up after you've added the moose knots. And let's see, maybe you answered this and I missed it. Where did you get, oh, my weaving needle. I think I got it at my local craft store. Yes, it came in a set, or you could like look them up online. There are like online like shopping sites, and you could find lots of them there. But I'll give you like the info on this one. Let me grab it real quick. Let me grab it. So I'll tell you like how long it is and everything. So let me move this. So that way you know, and oh, but goodness. So this one, the exact length is, let's see. This one is, okay, about 7 inches. And some other things that I've used, only because some stringing materials, like if they're really thin, what I've used is like the needles that came with the board, because there were a couple of times where, I don't know, like I said, I haven't been doing the weaving like too long, but for some reason I know that I'm getting there, because I'll be working and I'll be like, my brain tells me you would be more efficient with a different like size needle. And so sometimes I'll just like switch over just depending on the like the thread that I'm using. But this is exciting. It's fun. And I'll just do one here. It's just basically you go back and forth just like that. And you just like pull, and then you don't pull too like hard, but you just kind of like tap it down. See that? And then you just go back the other way. It's crazy. Like it's so therapeutic. I mean, when I'm doing this, I don't want anyone to like even look at me. It's one of those things you get so like into it that you just want to be left alone. It's incredible. So this is definitely, and I've been practicing like, oh my gosh, like right here, like switching out like different colors. And so after I finish, I need to use like a little. Sometimes I use like a little tiny latch hook and I just like stuff it like in there, and then I hook it and then I pull it through. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit like time consuming, but it's fun. I mean, and the number of patterns, just this alone is like the patterns that you could come up with. You'll be like doing it for the rest of your life if you decided to like just go the weaving part. And then, I've been practicing like, doing different techniques to finish it. So I don't have any lessons yet, but I'm working like on, just like some like basics, because, I'm just trying different materials, different, like, God, honestly, I don't know what I was on. But a few weeks ago, I was like going crazy with the weaving, and I came up with some crazy designs, and I don't even know how I did it. But you know, all I know is I was just like, ooh, weaving, weaving, weaving. So anyway, that's how I did this. And so soon, once I'm like a little more proficient and I know the terminology, because all I know is string goes this way, string goes that way, needle. And I know that there are proper terms like warp thread, and stuff like that. So I need to, I ain't going to do a lesson unless I have the terminology. Anyway, it is 11 o'clock. Guys, it is time for me to say goodbye. This was a very simple lesson, but I hope you learned something. So remember, 36 is the magic number when you're doing that, the measurement for your adjustable necklace. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Bye.